The woods of North America are, on rare and dark occasions, plagued by the oppressive presence of a colossal beast, which is, by most accounts, simply attempting to keep to itself and sort of politely walk around, but nonetheless, this creature has been the stuff of nightmares and myth for generations. You may know it as Bigfoot, you may know it as a Sasquatch, but I know it as the topic of some video games, which I will now play. End intro, cue, spooky transition, please. If you're like me and you're unsure of what a morel is, brace yourselves, as in a few short moments, I'll enlighten you. Initially I thought it was the name of some location, or perhaps some kind of animal genus like Ursus, Panthera, or Sus. I mean, this is a hunting game, right? Yes, well, you're not hunting animals, though. You're hunting mushrooms. Meet the morel, frankly the most horrific-looking organism on this accursed rock we call home. People gather these amygdala-looking abominations for no reason other than they seem to enjoy it, and then people pay to eat them. They voluntarily ingest these things. Regular fungi is bad enough. It's a corpse-devouring, rot-inducing, virus-like branch of nature that somehow, befitting of its parasitic nature, wormed its way into our minds as a perfectly acceptable form of life. The reason God resides in heaven and why Satan lurks in hell is because they know that they could not conquer our true overlord, the spore. This is still about Bigfoot, don't worry. So, moving past my unquestionably justified hatred of the fungal menace, let's talk about morels, the hunt. Contrary to my previous rant, the tone of the video and this frankly overdramatic music in the background, this is not a horror game. It's actually a super calm and relaxing exploration game. And there's also Bigfoot. So the main gist of the game is that you travel across the United States finding rare morel mushrooms and taking pictures of cute little boys. That sounds strange. I mean, animals, not young males. I mean, look at how happy this game is. Hell, even listen to it. It's so jolly. Oh no. I'm, no longer happy around cute little boys. To say that the tonal shift is extreme would be something of an understatement. It swiftly goes from Disney movie without the dark subtext to Blair Witch Project with a hint of Disney charm. But despite this now having the same atmosphere as the Tomb of the Giants, this is not the scariest part of the game. The scariest part is, as it is in real life, Lyme disease. No joke. This game is littered with ticks. They're a goddamn menace. You can pick them off, but you may just be plagued by the tick's bastard cousin, poison ivy, which, yeah, it requires a whole other remedy of its own. And then there are a few other minor dangers such as exhaustion, alligators, disquieting screeches of primal fear in the mists and fog, but there is one thing that isn't a threat. Bigfoot. And with that, I'd like to give this game the Bigfoot Realism Award. I'm not copying Ross, I swear. That being awarded for not making Bigfoot the biggest threat, but rather human inadequacy. You know how a bear, or a wolf, or a deer deals with ticks, poison ivy, and fear? By being competent. They spend their time thinking about important things rather than an infamously shy squatch. So things really get put in perspective when you're starving to death, plagued by insects and poison, and you're being screamed at by what is effectively a dinosaur. It helps us realize that Bigfoot is a pretty low-tier forest danger. Anyway, enough dancing around it. Or should I say, enough dying of exposure around it. It's Bigfoot season. So first we have to find out where to look for him. The game world is broken into several regions of the United States, each of those often having more than one sub-region. And then of course each region and sub-region has a rotating pool of available creatures based on the time, be it morning, afternoon, evening, or night. So, in short, this took a while. If you want to know how long, I managed to take pictures of the majority of the animals in the game, including some of the rarer ones, on top of collecting several hidden collectibles. I also found this abandoned ambulance, which is unnerving. But after several hours of entertaining yet monotonous wilderness exploration, I found a clue. These trees, For some reason, it's ingrained in my head that Bigfoot spends a significant amount of his time annihilating small trees. I guess it's to make him feel better about being the incredible coward that he clearly is. So then I started the seemingly endless sequence of waiting, reloading, waiting, reloading, pondering the value of my time and so on, but eventually, I heard him. The forlorn call of a beast damned to walk the earth alone. Alternatively, the gormless shout of a stupid hippie gorilla. I began creeping through this falsely serene woodscape, stalking a being of myth and secrecy, until I, unlike any before me, captured undeniable proof of, he ran away. Yep, that's all I saw from Bigfoot. God damn it. Don't worry, the next games have a lot more of him. But unfortunately, they don't have as much of him running up a sheer cliff face. But I'm not too upset that my meeting with Mr. Foot was brief, as in hunting him, I discovered an incredibly charming nature exploration game. Thanks, Bigfoot! Fun fact for you though, Bigfoot is not the only cryptid in this game. There's also a werewolf, some aliens, chupacabra, a ghost, all of which are much more interesting than Bigfoot. But anyway, that's all for Morels the Hunt. You can also play as a raccoon, drown a horse, and play Pong with a couple of squirrels. Now we must begin another great hunt for Bigfoot, wherever might he be. Oh, he's next to my house. He's also very polite. Good game. So the way this is meant to be played is a little different. You're meant to take a light tour around this low-poly landscape, attempting to find the ever-elusive Bigfoot, and oh, look, he's there, and there. He's actually quite agreeable in this game, but he's still a big ol' softy. Useless knave. But Bigfoot is not the most common creature here. That award goes to the ever-present natural being that is an active pest in our lives. Aliens. Begone, aliens, I'm trying to find the funny monkey. And, honestly, there's not much else on display. There's a cave, and a lake, and a graveyard, but, you know, what good date doesn't have these? There's really not much else to say. Let's move on. This is probably the most famous of the cryptid hunting games, and, as you'll see in the coming weeks, it's also the baseline for many, many others. In many ways, it's kind of like the phasmophobia of cryptid hunts, being a 4-player co-op, intel-heavy, gadget-based exploration into a real-life hobby? Is that the right word? I don't want any feet enthusiasts coming after me. But rather than having a ton of pseudo-scientific apparatus, you've got actual cool scientific apparatus like drones, bear traps, guns, and meat. And using these, you must find and neutralize Bigfoot, as well as locate some bodies of his victims. But unlike much of the media that represents our friend Big, this does not portray him as a reclusive and timid beast of great strength and intrigue. They portray him here like he's absorbed the essence of Macho Man Randy Savage and then found a taste for black market horse steroids. He is genuinely a maniac. Now, I know I've mocked him quite a lot today, but good lord, he fixed his issues for this one. I'm the shy little boy now. Though, I don't think he'd maintain his cryptid status for long if he was actually like he is in this game, as it's kinda hard to keep yourself secret if you're basically just a storm of fists. This is much more in line with movie Bigfoot than Bigfoot Cool Original, or Cool Ranch for the Yanks. The game is really built around this aggression though, as you're really incentivized to stay far away from the funny monkey. Aside from the previously mentioned drone, which is super cool and also of questionable utility, you get cameras to place around, long-range scopes, flares that light up huge areas, and a nice little safe base. And honestly, I could fiddle with a lot of these things all day. These cameras are very fun to use. But honestly, I don't want to just sit here and describe mechanics to you. There are other people much better at that than me. If you want to learn more about the game, you can take a look at its Steam page, join their Discord, or even go to their website. And their website is www.bigfootplay.com. Yep, that's bigfootplay.com. Anyway, now on to my personal experience with the game. It opened on something of a sour note. You're given this strange little option to search for things using this tablet that you're given, and being the cheeky scamp that I am, I searched for Bigfoot. Get it? And then this happened. What a rude little hair man. And then, get this, while attempting to write notes for this very script, this jabroni comes up to my tent, which I thought was hallowed ground, and punches it out of existence. Then he has the gall to attack like an annoying Dark Souls PvPer. He pops in, dinks you, then flees if he's even slightly endangered. And in exploring this map, I come to realize that this Squatch's aggression is not confined to the realm of fisticuffs. He's got these little effigies all over the place made of like skulls and bones and whatnot, and if he allowed me to comment on them, I'm sure we'd find something to have a reasonable conversation about, but no, he insists on charging at me constantly. Eventually, I had to take a break from this by sitting in my little RV and taunting him through the glass. Haha, what a funny monkey. Yeah, he may act like a big man out there, but in here, we're nice and safe. He can punch his way through the windows, but you know, whatever, you can dodge that. This is a good time to mention my personal opinion of Bigfoot. Honestly, he's an entry-level cryptid. His defining features are big and hair, and his defining behavior is literally minding his own business. He's honestly not that far removed from many real animals. The other cryptids we'll be seeing soon are far more interesting and varied, but for now, we can sit back and laugh at the fact that this little boy is utterly useless. Thank God he can't come in here.